To have professionals teaching is a weird situation, but it seems to work in academia.
Why is it weird?
Because it's cut the middleman out. The product is the student. In my case, the product is the student. In an office, the product is the product.
Yeah.
It's weird to have something that you think is controlled in a way, but really isn't, because you don't know what's going on inside that head. You don't know how much has been absorbed. You see what's absorbed because that's the only way you can tell. But you don't know why it ended up that way. You still don't know why it ended up that way. And I think I'd still be probably disappointed to find out that this was done not because of a theoretical approach or not because of a
kind of rigor,
an aesthetic approach, because it just happened to come out that way. And the student worked really hard and remembered something, one or two things, you know? And now with 3D modeling, you lose something along the way. You lose that in between,
the tactility,
that
tactility.
Just before it's finished, you don't get that chance to say that edge should be sharper. And if you don't get it fast enough, because the stuff comes in and they work on it and then it's presented. It used to be you saw it gradually, but now there's a jump there. And as a result, some things come in and I say, we didn't know at the time, but then I change it by saying, you know, this is the first step. This used to be the last step, but now it's the first step to refining. You get the piece in, the edge isn't the way it should have been because I didn't see it before they sent the drawing out. I saw what they had in mind, but then we couldn't see as it developed.
Right.
So
as they
all of a
rendered
sudden,
it, the rendering finally comes and it's like, that's not what we was talking about.
and the three-dimensional piece comes in from the 3D printer. And
Oh, they're doing that now.
oh, well, sure, that's what a lot of the stuff. And then I say, we didn't talk about the thickness at the edge. I'm not talking about renderings. I'm talking about real 3D things that are coming in.
All right. So
Yeah.
I thought I was going to wrap it up, but I got a question about the 3D printing.
Yeah, me too.
Why can't they do the 3D printing throughout the process? Is it so expensive?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't redo something. This is $40 for this little thing here. This is $80 for this thing. How many lunches is that?
Okay.
You know. So this is a very interesting, I mean, to be alive at this point is so interesting.
So as this becomes cheaper, and cheaper, then it becomes.
Sure. Then it becomes over and over and over. Send it back, change it a little bit, send it back. You know, you can't do that now. You have to work on it after you've gotten it. And there's no time, because the reason they print it sometimes is because there is no time. They have a week, you know, to get this finished, and then a week first to look at it. And this has to be done right away because we have to look at it. Well, then when we look at it, then they have to file it down, and that takes a long time because of the material.
So, and again, I had this discussion with Richard Schultz, and we're in sort of a transition process.
Oh, it's amazing.
The sort of the nostalgia of the tactility of doing things. There's a new kind of tactility that's coming.
There's a new kind. No, this is such a transitional period, and the reason it's difficult for all of us, and don't let anybody tell you this is easy, for everybody involved with digitizing, with graphics, with everything, with printing, with 3D printing, with digital photography, with everything. We are in such a transitional period because we don't know where it's going. We have no idea what it's going to be like.
Right.
It may be that in 20 years you want a doorknob and you go on your computer and you do a drawing of what you want and you get it back in the mail and you put it on the door. You know, I mean, we don't know. Industrial design, the whole field may totally change.
Yeah.
I mean, that what we're seeing and where our hearts are and our minds may be totally transposed someplace else. Our hearts and minds are going to be someplace else.
So it's almost
so
like
I've got to live for 20 more years to find out.
so it's almost as if there's no real equivalent to it in history.
No.
Well,
the mechanical revolution. I mean, the industrial revolution. There was.
Yeah, I was getting to that, which is kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, I could think about sort of the Frank Lloyd Wright home in Oak Park where he built it before electricity.
Yeah.
And then, in short order, electricity, then cars came, and that changed everything within a period less than 10 years.
Absolutely. And we're going to just suffer through this, all of us that are teaching now, all of us that have been in a period. You consider a half a century ago where I was learning.
Mm-hmm.
More than half a century ago. And now what I'm doing now. And how have I got to be careful that I don't impede anything? And that is a major thing for somebody my age, to not impede, to work with the digital, because that's what we can't ignore. It is here. It is going to be with us. It is going to develop and transform this world.